Have you checked out ChevetteReport.com? It's the newest cigar media outlet to keep you in the know with all things cigar lifestyle related. From press releases to reviews, we have it all covered. Be some of our first members to join ChevetteReport.com and be a part of the next step in the cigar culture. ChevetteReport.com.
It's a rare condition this day and age to read any good news on the newspaper page. And love and tradition of the grand design, some people say, is even harder to find. Well, then there must be some magic clue inside these gentle walls. 'Cause all I see is a tower of dreams, real love bursting out of every seam. Please go by. It's the bigger love of the family.
What is going on, everybody? Is your favorite Thursday night live streamer, show host, whatever you want to call me. Welcome in. Hopefully you've had a fantastic 2 weeks off since we've seen you last time. Since we saw you last time, we were preparing to go to the PCA trade show. And since then, we have been to the PCA trade show and we have returned ourselves back to the great state of South Carolina. It was a fantastic run. It was another successful show, and I have a lot of editing ahead of me. Before we get into the show, and before questions get answered, when will the PCA content videos start popping out? Monday is when the PCA content is going to start popping out. We're going to start having the videos shoveled out to you all starting on Monday. That gives me enough time to have gotten back and recovered. I'm already back into the workflow of my actual job, and so it gives me time to get videos ready, queued up, and available to publish by themselves every day. Also, set up the intro, set up the thumbnails, all the other things that are going to have to make PCA content work. It's a lot of job. It's not just point and shoot with a camera phone and just put the videos on the internet. I pride myself in having some nice quality long form content for PCA. It seems to be a trend that's dying, and I don't know if I want it to die yet. I also shot it that way, so I can't turn it into short form content. Maybe next year. We'll see. Into the comments, we've got 20 people already chilling with us. Happy to hear, or happy to see that everybody is here and hanging out with us. Cigar Pop, welcome in. Brett Kelly, Michael, Zach Vic, Dan, the man, Burns, Gary Zanstra, Miss Diana Burns, welcome in. Banker John. Let's see who else is in here. Robert, welcome in. Hunter, welcome in. Rita, welcome in. Charles Adamson, welcome in. Matt Brugger, what is going on? Is bandwidth low or is it me? I'm not sure. The sync seems off. And it doesn't look well. What do we mean it doesn't look well? Good here, Charles. On my phone, everything is clear. Looks okay on the phone. Big screen is blurry. No idea. Interesting. I don't have any control over that, I don't believe. Hey, Chief, am I having internet problems? I don't think so. I don't know. I don't see what the the problem is, hey, Jay Bates, welcome in. Let me see. It does appear a little blurry on my phone. So auto 720. Maybe my connection is just weak. I don't have a notification that says connection is weak, but I can't control that. I'm so sorry. I wish okay. I have no idea. Guys. On my screen, I'm not trying to be dismissive. I can't fix it on my screen. It looks fine. There is no other. There's no. I have it as the highest resolution that I can get it to go. With our the tier that we have, and I don't want to get hung up on that. So we're just gonna keep rolling with what we got. So tonight's show, I am going to be going through all of the cigars that I have here in the shop from PCA that are new to me. We're going to go through them. We're not going to smoke them, obviously, tonight. And so, yeah, before I go any farther, what are you smoking? What are you drinking? I am smoking a Joya de Nicaragua Cinco de Cinco. I wanted to go with something that is not brand new to me, but also something that is good, something that's delicious, and something that is delightful. So we went with the Joya de Nicaragua Cinco de Cinco. Tonight we'll talk about not only the new cigars that we got, but we'll also talk about PCA in general, all the things that happened in PCA, and all of the tragedies that happened at PCA as well. Okay, I'm so now. After I said I didn't want to talk about it, now I'm getting text messages from my mom. So let me play some ads for you guys, and I will try to go figure this out for you all. Be right back.
Have you checked out ChevetteReport.com? It's the newest cigar media outlet to keep you in the know with all things cigar lifestyle related. From press releases to reviews, we have it all covered. Be some of our first members to join ChevetteReport.com and be a part of the next step in the cigar culture. ChevetteReport.com.
All right. I don't know. I've switched around stuff. My audio board got switched things around for the last First Lady thing on Saturday. So hopefully I switched it back. Hopefully it's working. Hopefully there's not a delay. If there's a delay, whatever going forward, I'm sorry. It's just going to have to be a rough show. I don't have the ability to pop in and out and mix the show and whatnot. And honestly, it's kind of getting a little frustrating. And I don't want the first show back to be just a show where I'm getting really frustrated with everything. So unfortunately, if it's not fixing itself, I don't know. Let me see. I'm on the studio network. Everything is how it's supposed to be. It shows up clear on my side, so it's not like my camera is messing up with the file because it's being broadcast right in front of me. I can see it. So maybe the internet is just being the internet. I have no idea. So I'm going to continue to do this. Thank you all so much for hanging out. Where is... Man, I'm really frustrated. Do that. All right. Welcome in, Bob Cigar Guy.
Hello, everybody.
Hold on a second. Stop what you're doing, because you're not coming through. You don't have your mic set up right. You're not coming through your mic. You're coming through your computer mic, and you have your computer audio on. What a show. Wait a... All right, try now.
How's that?
That's much better.
Very good.
All right. Welcome into the show, Bob the Cigar Guy.
Hey, Chief, you asked what we were smoking. I decided to go with the Undercrown Dominican El Tigre. That's right. We are going to start off with something delicious for this evening. I think I'm going to be, if I get done with El Tigre, we'll be working on this new to me Monte Cristo that I just picked up at PCA this weekend. So glad to have you back in the studio, Chief. As Chief fires up a cigar. It was great to see our friends at Hood in Nicaragua, Christian, and some new people working with Hood in Nicaragua, which I bet Chief will talk about. And that was really exciting for us, just because it's a good friend of ours and they're back in the industry. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah, we get to see Christian and Joel, who have been with Hoyt in Nicaragua. Obviously, what we're talking about there is Hoyt in Nicaragua itself has not changed aside from their U.S. distribution. Drew Estate used to be the distributor for Hoyt in Nicaragua in the United States of America, now to SAG Importers. And so normally, they're kind of hand in hand, Hoya and Drew Estate. Their booths were right next to each other again this year. Christian and Joel both are full-time Hoya now. Also, Ali Crozier is also with Hoya and SAG Importers in Quesada. So it was nice to see those guys. The show was really fun. There were a lot of hiccups during the show. First hiccup occurred on Saturday towards the end of the show. I actually wrote an email to the PCA to let them know that I think they need to make sure that their wires are not running under the carpet again for trade shows. I feel like this year was the first year that I felt wires under the carpet. But my camera shook off the top of the tripod, and because I had a wheelie system for my tripod this year to roll across the trade show floor, because it's a lot easier to roll your tripod if you can instead of pick it up everywhere. And the camera fell off the tripod head, camera, battery, lens, everything down straight to the ground, landed on the lens, broke the lens in half. Quite literally, not an exaggeration.
By the way, your audio and your picture are synced and are very clear. So I don't know what the issue was, but it's not there anymore.
Well, praise the Lord for that. So here's my old lens. It's not supposed to be in two pieces. It's not supposed to have all of the Anakin Skywalker R2-D2 C-3PO bits hanging out. So that was sad. That was really sad. I love this lens. This is the lens that I stream off of every single week. This is a Sigma 24-70 DGN2. I love this lens. Luckily, I don't use a lot of it for my photography, but I use a lot of it I use it strictly for streaming. Tonight, I'm very blessed to have a really good friend in Joel Da Silva, who shoots all the content for Drew Estate Cigar. And he had a Tamron 25-70 that he doesn't use anymore, that he has lent me for the foreseeable future. And so that's what I'm shooting on tonight. So that's why it kind of sort of looks the same as normal, because it does pretty much what this lens does. So thank you, Joao da Silva. Also, I would be remiss if I didn't say a huge thank you to Fireborn from both Bob the Cigar Guy and myself.
Absolutely.
Fireborn sent when he heard about the calamity, he sent over a donation to Build Back Better Fund. We have the BBBF, the Build Back Better Fund, to replace the lens in the future. So big shout out to Fireborn for doing that. And he was we didn't ask for that. He just decided to do that out of the kindness of his heart. So Mr. Salty is no longer Mr. Salty. He's Mr. Generous. So big
and
shout
it was neat. It was neat to see that as soon as you posted up that camera lens had got busted, other media that in any other realm would be considered competitors reached out and said, I think I got an extra one. They were ready to jump in and say, I got you. What do you need? Which I thought was very, very cool.
Yeah, it was neat. Yeah, my immediate run was to Joel, because Joel and I both shoot off the A7 IV. The Sony platform uses an E mount, so you can't just grab a lens that you see off the shelf and just put it on any camera. It's going to have the right mounting. So I went to him and I was like, "Hey, do you have anything that I can finish out the day with?" I brought this lens with me to PCA, but this lens is not meant for close-up interviews at all. This is for things that are a little farther away. This is a 70-200 G Master f4 with macro, and I love this lens. This is my favorite lens. This is the lens that I do everything with. All of my photography that I do for the lounge, that I do for the channel, most of the videography that I do for Barn Smoker and things like that is shot off of this lens. So I had this lens just in case. But the footage would have suffered drastically, and the interview process would have been very different had I had to shoot on that. But Charlie Manano from Half Wheel offered a lens. I talked with other Sony shooters. Greg Pittman with Foundation, he offered a lens. He was renting that same exact lens. He was like, "Hey, I have that lens if you want to use it for the rest of the show." And then there were other Sony shooters that I know.
You can rent lenses?
Yeah, we've rented a lens before. But yeah, you can rent lenses. You can go to lensrental.com and rent lenses and try them out before you buy them. See if it's what you want. Then Supreme Tobacco, the legend himself, right there. He was staying with us for the PCA trade show, and we walked out to our rental car. We park at a pay to park lot right across the street from the convention center, which is very convenient. And we walk out there, and he was like, "Oh, dude, somebody hit your car." And I was like, "Man, I think I'd probably lose my mind if somebody hit my car. Ha ha ha." And he's like, "No, I'm being serious." And sure enough, you walk out. Oh, Fireborn, we were just singing your praises. We were just saying how wonderful of a human being you are. But walked out to the rental car, and the rental car had been sideswiped by somebody during the day. We parked out there at 8:25 in the morning, and then walked out at 6:15. Sorry, got a tickle. Walked out at 6:15 p.m. and in between the almost 10 hours that we were parked out there, somebody had come through the parking lot super fast, or not paying attention, or just too close to the Subaru Forester that we had, and clipped and broke the back right taillight and scratched up the fender or the bumper real bad. And didn't leave a note, didn't leave a oops, my bad, didn't leave $100 bill or something like that to help me with my my insurance policy that's gonna have to come out for that thing. Luckily my credit card does have insurance, apparently. We did look that up for rental cars. And so Saturday was like a culmination of like, oh, Chief might jump off a bridge today. Somebody
You handled it well.
I got over it eventually.
I'm glad you had your boys with you,
Yeah,
because I think that was your buffer.
that was our boys' night. That was the night that Mike, Brian, Joel and Greg and myself all got to hang out in the Subi and go get barbecue. So it definitely made up for the pretty bad day. And then the rest of the show went pretty well. Other than there are going to be some videos during the show. I found this out when I was going through some of the audio one day, and there's a really high pitched whistle throughout some of the videos, some of the interviews. I don't understand what caused it. Not every at first it was, my thought was, oh crap, all of the videos that I shot post camera Kurt Cobain are going to have an audio issue, but there are some videos that were shot post the death to the floor that have perfect audio. So I haven't put them into my editing software yet to find out whether or not they're going to be okay, or if I can take the hum down, or if you guys are just going to have to grin and bear it through some of those. What's going on, Epicurean Smokes? Bob Ellis, welcome on to the show. What else? And then on Monday morning, we shot our Hoya de Nicaragua interview, and I completely forgot to plug in the microphone receiver. I had both microphones were on, the receiver was on, but I forgot to plug the receiver into my camera. So we recorded a 24-minute interview with Christian Lanzas, and there was no audio. Now, hello. Now, no. When I found out about it, I was like, hey, Christian Lanzas, I just shot this whole entire interview with you guys, and there's no audio. And he was like, oh, great. I forgot to talk about some cigars, so we can just reshoot it later. So we did reshoot the interview. So yeah, we dodged that bullet, because that would have sucked to have gotten all the way here and then been like, oh man, there's no audio for this Hoya de Nicaragua interview. So we were fortunate enough to get that fixed and taken care of and reshoot. Bob Cigar Guy cracked a windshield on the way home, I hear. Definitely the most accident-prone trip we've had to date. And hopefully this is the worst as it ever gets. You know, my planes took off and landed just fine. I did lose my Leffenlom's cutter. I think I left it at the Drew Estate booth on Monday upstairs, which sucks. Cigar Pop, did you guys get sponsors this time? No new sponsors to my knowledge. We did do some sponsorship business talks, but no new companies coming on board as of yet. We do have some new opportunities for current companies who already sponsor the channel to sponsor other things. So that'll be revealed in the future. Epicurean says I had to reshoot one with Jamin from Definition last year. It happens. Yeah, I mean, I was fine with it. I had a feeling that Christian would be okay to reshoot if we needed to anyways. It just kind of added to the weekend of craziness, which was a whole lot of fun. All right. So, Bob Cigar, you don't have all of your cigars over there, I don't see. So I have
them in the wall, but I don't need to drag all mine out. A show like this, there's not going to be much room for my color commentation because you got a lot of stuff to go through.
Well, I mean, obviously you can talk. I'll ask you if you've smoked it yet, and then you can talk about it if you've smoked it. I did not smoke a lot of cigars from the actual show. I smoked a few. All right, so we will start off with Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. The first big one, actually the biggest cigar that I got from the entire trade show. Actually, very surprised that we even got these. I'm kind of shocked that he handed us these.
Me too.
This is the Lengua de Suegra. This is the Moisture de Saca Culebra from Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. This is 3 cigars into one. I will be smoking these probably soon, so I'm not just going to leave it in the plastic to sit. So I will unplastic it for you and show, oh, I didn't know you could put a Calibra in cellophane. Huh. How about that? Let me solo myself for that one. I didn't know you could cellophane a Culebra. Did you already open yours yet?
I did.
So that's exciting because that's 3 cigars in one. I'm not going to smoke all 3 at one time. I'm not going to do that. Also from Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust, cigar that I was told to look out for by Gary Brooks was the Red Meat Lovers Club Spicy Beef Stick. Listening to Steve Saka, I believe this is the Red Meat Lovers Fratanga, just in a different Vitola. It has the Red Meat Lovers Fratanga gold on the Red Meat Lovers band instead of the white like normal. So if I remember listening correctly during the interview, this is the same thing as the Fratanga, just in a different Vitola, not a box press. This is a Parejo. Also from Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust, a cigar that I had at the show and really, 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 really enjoyed. I could see this being in my top 3. This is the Sobremesa Tapa Negra. This is the regular Sobremesa with the Tapa Negra wrapper on the top. I watched a video, live stream, or a little post that Steve Saka had put up before the trade show, like the week before the trade show, that talked about that cigar. And he said that it doesn't really have it. He's not putting it on there really for the flavor. It's more of the mouth experience and how that tobacco, you pull off a spiciness because of what the tobacco leaf is. I don't remember exactly what the tobacco leaf is off the top of my head. But it affects the mouth experience during the cigar. And I'll tell you what, it does affect the mouth experience of the cigar. And it's kind of actually really dope. I'm not sure if I like it more than the traditional Sobremesa Brulee yet, because I've only had 2 of them. So I can't wait to get back into that one. And then the last one that I have from Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust, this is the English Dulce Stillwell Star. Love this cigar. Really, really love the cigar. Probably my favorite cigar from the trade show, to be honest. Really love the cigar. I had the other one. I think it's the new aromatic.
It is.
With the blue label. Dope cigar. Really dope. Out of those cigars, Bob, which ones have you had? Which ones did you like? What was your take? Quick.
I have had both of the Stillwell Stars. That's it. Out of those 2. And I like both of them, but the aromatic was just amazing. I had that walking around the first night party as my walking around stick, and it actually made me stop and pay attention. I really, really like it. And Steve Saka said that this iteration of Stillwell Star, he wished he would have done first because he thinks he's done it so much better.
Yeah.
So it was, they're both fantastic. They both have a sweetened cap. The aromatic's a little sweeter, but they both have a strong sweetened cap for a Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust cigar.
Hunter on says, are those 3 cigars meant to be smoked at once? No, you can smoke them 3 at the same time if you wanted to. But I believe the lore behind the Culebra is in Cuba. They said you could have 1 cigar a day, so they just made 3 cigars, bound them together so that you could have 1 cigar a day, and then you could break it apart and you'd have 3 cigars instead of 1 cigar. I believe that's the lore behind the Culebra. Michael Zavakovic says he did a nice interview where he explained. Explained that cigar. Very interested to try. I don't know why they put that little bauble right there in the middle of the comment. Thanks, StreamYard. Fix that. All right, moving on. There's 35 cigars to go through here that I have. I got more than 35 cigars. I have duplicates. I have cigars that I've smoked before and cigars that are not new to this year. And also, not every cigar that I have lined up are new cigars to this year. I believe most of them are, but 100% of the cigars that I have up here have not smoked before. Moving on, I only have 1 in the box from Drew Estate right now. This is the El Tigre. This is the Fire from the early access pack that they put out. I don't have my Deadwood Dominicana Buenas Noches box. I have one at the house. I do not have one here. I actually smoked one on the way over here as well. Really love the El Tigre. This is the cigar I smoked the most at the show. Obviously, Drew Estate sponsors our PCA content. Shout out Drew Estate. Also for the show, shout out Drew Estate, Natura Cigar sponsoring Chief Talk, making sure that's just the regular Dominicana, I think. I don't think that's the Buenas Noches. I think it's just regular.
Yes,
You sure? Because that's the Buenas Noches was a little had blue on the box.
No, this is that one.
El Tigre, probably the cigar I smoked the most at the show. I think I probably had 5 or 6. Really loving the cigar, really enjoying it. In my top 5 of the trade show for sure. I have not ranked my top 5. I haven't ranked my top cigars. I did have a definite bottom. A cigar we only got one of. It was the AJ Fernandez Amar. Not a fan of that cigar at all. Did not like it. But I only got one of them, so I don't have one to show here on the stream. Jumping into Espinosa. I'm not a big Espinosa guy. So I haven't smoked a lot of Espinosa. But it looks like I got 3 new Espinosas or new to me Espinosas. I could not hear the interview as it was going on. I know that Bob was having a really good time. So that was nice to hear. This is the 601 20th anniversary out of Espinosa. And then following into the 601 La Bamba Warhead. Not sure if this is brand new or not, or if this is just a blend that they've had around. I know the Warheads are not new. And then there is another. So this is the Warhead 12. Sorry, this is the Warhead 12. So this is new. Warhead 12. And then this is the Warhead Independence Day. So these 3 I got this year from the Espinosa booth, or we got this year from the Espinosa booth. All 601s, 2 of them La Bambas, and the other is the 20th anniversary. Bob, you got to smoke some of these or one of these. What did you think?
Did I smoke any of those? I didn't smoke anything during that interview.
I thought you smoked during the interview.
No, I don't think I did. I can't remember.
I did. But maybe it wasn't any of those. I was pretty sure you smoked during that interview. Awesome. Moving on, I have a lot of new from SAG Imports. So Hoy de Nicaragua, and freaking what are these guys called? Quesada. So 2 new. Maybe I don't know if they're new. But these are the Rosalones out of Hoy de Nicaragua. These are old school blends that I believe he said had been revamped into new ones. This is the Reserva and the Connecticut. Very nice. I love the band. It's got the rose right in the middle. Excited to try these. Excited to get into those. I love everything that comes out of Hoy de Nicaragua, so I'm sure that those are going to be good. And then, like I said, in conjunction with Hoy de Nicaragua in the I don't know if that's from the Quesada or not. I could be, but no, it's Quesada. So this is I have two of the Quesadas with the new branding on them. So this the Superior Oscuro and the Superior Connecticut. These are Quesada's new logo. They got both of these from them. I've never had anything from Quesada before. I've never smoked Quesada, so I'm excited to get into these, try those, see how they are. That's also the new branding. Speaking of new branding, smoked a I don't remember which blend of Plasencia it was. On the check-in day, they were handing out cigars, but it had Plasencia's new logo on it. Wasn't a fan of that cigar either. So found two cigars I didn't really care for. This is the Quesada Oktoberfest 2026. So obviously new for this year. I know that Oktoberfest has been around with Quesada for a while, but I've never had one. Bob Cigar, I know you've had the Oktoberfest from Quesada before. So it'll be interesting to see how that one tastes, how that one goes. And then Casa Magna from Quesada as well. Never had. Looking forward to try and get into. Did you smoke any of those yet, Bob the Cigar Guy?
No.
Great. All right. First time that we've sat down to do an interview with these guys. We saw them at the trade show last year. We didn't have time to do an interview, but Bob the Cigar Guy did get some of their cigars. I've never smoked any of these cigars before, so I'm interested to try these. This is Apostate. So I got two cigars from Apostate. One is the I don't know. What is that? Is that English? The Sword of Laban. And then the Endowment. So both of those from Apostate. We did get to interview the Apostate guys this year. They reached out to me. They said they were going to be at the Black Label Trading Company booth, and I said, hey, we're actually already going to be at the Black Label Trading booth on Sunday. We'd love to jump over to you as soon as you're done with James Brown and Company. Speaking of James Brown, I don't have any cigars from Black Label Trading Company because I smoked mine during the interview, and it's the brand new one. For whatever reason, the name continues to escape me, but I know I wrote about it on shredderreport.com. Yes, the Macabre. And holy junk, that's a great cigar. James Brown said to me, I hate when people say that my cigars are smooth because not every cigar that I blend is blended to be smooth. He says, if you call this one smooth, I'm going to be upset. It's not smooth. It's rough. It's tough. It punches you in the nose, and it's a great cigar. Cigar Pop says, sorry, guys, really looking forward to the show, but I have a sinus infection that's now a really bad toothache. Have a great night. Sorry, Cigar Pop. Man, I hate to hear that. Thank you for all the shares. Cigar Pop.
Absolutely.
The nation, all time for shares for Chief Talk. The man is a sharing machine. Feel better, Cigar Pop. Sorry to hear that, brother. Michael Zachbeck I saw was leaving, I think.
For Alabama tomorrow, so he's got to hit the hay.
Microphone just a little bit. It's like popping real bad. Bank John says, big shout out to True Safe for sponsoring PCA After Dark. Michael Zachbeck, travel safely if you're still here and listening. All right. Now you got to smoke. Did you smoke during the Apostate interview, right?
No.
Oh, have you smoked any of the Apostate since?
No.
You did get to smoke during the Black Label interview.
No.
Yes, because we both got a cigar at the same time.
I still have it.
Then you must have got another one because we both lit up. I could have sworn, I could be wrong, but I could have sworn you smoked for that interview. I will say, I enjoy that cigar a lot. It's really good. I will say, too, also, it's kind of funny. I got home Tuesday, had to work Wednesday, went to work, and yesterday, the CLE rep came in, and he brought in one of the brand new Asylums that I guess they launched, and got smoked it yesterday, and it was really good as well. Really nice on the Retro Hail. The Macabre on the Retro Hail was really, really, really nice. I like that one. All right. This is a cigar smoking show. So, Bob, why don't you go ahead and tell us the top thing that happened at PCA so I can smoke my cigar a little bit?
Well, I don't know if it will be the top thing, but this will be great.
Just a top thing. Doesn't have to be the top thing.
This will be great. Apples to oranges to see Chief's interviewing ability compared to Bob the Cigar Guy's interviewing ability. After we had the accident, the next day, Stephen had to wait outside for the police to show up, and they could do a police report. And so I had to do the first interview. Thank God it was this interview, because I had to use my phone, and I had this cheap crummy little desktop tripod, and I was in there with Nick Melillo from Foundation, and we had a great time. It was funny. The guys from Half Wheel was trying to jump in and get an interview, and he goes, well, Bob's got the slot. He's on the schedule. And so the guy jumped in and started talking anyway, and he said something about reviewing on a phone. And I said, yeah, I bet y'all use the same gear that I use. He kind of laughed, and he goes, no, we're a little more technical than that. And I kind of laughed it off, and I said, jerk. But we were doing the interview, and it was sitting on the table, and all of a sudden, Nick reaches up for the phone, and I'm looking at him. So I look at what he's reaching up at. The tripod is so cheap that the phone falls over, and so he straightens up the phone. And so I think we had to do that 3 times during the interview. That the phone just kept moving on its own. So,
man, nothing makes me more frustrated than the fact that for the last 3 years we have had a Foundation debacle. 3 years ago, actually, every single time that we've done anything with or didn't get Foundation, all 4 PCAs have had a Foundation debacle. Year 1, did the interview, Rocky Patel gets a mariachi band right there in the middle of the interview, screws up the audio. Year 2, our schedules get mixed, couldn't work at a time to work with Nick Melillo for an interview, didn't get the interview. Year 3, get the interview, audio's messed up because the microphones weren't where they were supposed to be, and it was terrible. Year 4, I'm waiting outside on a police report. We're waiting for the police to show up to file a police report for the car that got hit on Saturday, and you go in and have camera issues. So maybe next year will be the year that we can finally book Nick Melillo well. So definitely a little frustrated when I heard that, because I was like, man, when I told you, man, you should just go in and I'll wait out here for the cops, I was waiting for you to be like, no, I can't leave you, man. We're a team. I'm going to stay out here with you. Bob, it took you 0.0001 seconds to be like, all right, I'll grab my stuff to do my tripod. And
look, here's the thing. We're there to grind, and you got it covered. You're grown. You make good decisions. You got that handled. I'm at a point to where I can trust you to take care of business while I take care of business. We split in half. And
I do wonder, though, if it would have been the other way around. I wonder if you'd have been as divide and conquer as I was.
No, I would have been go get the shot. I would have been go get the shot. Or I would have told Sarah, look, after PCA tonight, after it's over, I'll wait on the cops and I'll do a police report. If we're already 24 hours away, 36 ain't going to make a difference at this point. Either it's going to be good or it's going to be bad. It doesn't matter. So I would have just at the end of PCA that night, instead of going to do whatever, I just would have done that. And then I would have ran home as fast as I could and done PCA after dark.
Thanks for suggesting that. All right. So moving in next, I don't think this is a new cigar. This is just one that was handed to us. For the first time ever, we did get to do Loud DC. Loud DC owns Caldwell. And so we did, you got to do the interview with, I believe his name is Will, for Caldwell. 2 new cigars out of Caldwell this year, I believe. Right?
Correct.
I did smoke one already, but I have this Long Live the Queen cigar to smoke left that I haven't smoked yet before. So excited about that one. Also, you did the interview with Loud DC. They also own Cornell and Deal. And so welcome back, Matt Broger. So we did a pipe tobacco interview for the first time at PCA, because you know what? There's a lot of pipes and a lot of pipe tobacco at the PCA. And screw all you guys who are making fun of me for smoking a pipe at the opening ceremonies during the Premium Cigar Trade Show, because I was smoking my pipe and I was having a great time, and you guys were making fun of me for having a pipe. Now, this must be one that you went and found in your spare time. because we did not interview these guys this year. This is the Black Star Line Eugene Bullard.
Yes.
It's a pre-release band, so
Yes.
you must have.
By the way, you smoked another Stolen Throne, the one with the dog on the band.
Haven't made it to Stolen Throne yet.
Oh, that's right. I got to mix up with the Apostate.
Good job.
Well.
This year, for the first time ever, we got the guys at Warfighter. I've never smoked Warfighter before, but this is called the Night Shift. From Warfighter. Also, this is just the Warfighter San Andreas. Warfighter, new to me. Never had him before. Our first interview of the trade show was the Davidoff, Avo, Camacho, Ferriotego, Zeno area. We did not interview Avo. I did get some footage of the opening ceremony for Avo. I don't know what the audio sounds like because I didn't know what I was supposed to be shooting. I didn't have a shotgun mic with me. But this is the brand new Avo cigar. This is the Avo Expressivo. Sorry, the Avo Expressivo. I love the band on it. Bob Cigar. I got to try the cool drinks and stuff they were having multiple times. So I don't know how were those. Were those good?
They were delicious. They were kind of weird with the smoke and stuff, but I ended up taking the first lady in there. And so the guy says, "Can I explain to you how to drink that?" I said, "Sure." And he goes, "It's not smoke, it's vapor." And so what you do is you just inhale it. And then while you're inhaling it, you take a sip of your drink. And I watched the first lady do it. And it was kind of neat because after she drank the drink, smoke came out of her mouth. But it is a unique experience. I like the drink a whole lot better than I like the whole smoky thing. But it's smart. The way they had that thing set up, everybody's going to take pictures of it. Everybody's going to post it on the socials. The cigars everywhere. The colors match the bands. I mean, it was very smart marketing.
I did get a cool hat. It's cool. Avo Cigars hat. I love this hat a lot. Also, Davidoff released a brand new cigar. It's their brand new line, their black line. This is the Dominicano, the Puro Dominicano. Sorry. This is their short Robusto. We got a few different one of these in the bag. Then we got to go back to West Tampa Tobacco again this year, which was fun. That's a hilarious interview. I won't spoil it for you, but Bob was left speechless. So
that was funny.
But they are debuting a brand new cigar. It's a box press. It's called the Baba Shop. From West Tampa Tobacco. It is a tight, nice box press. You all know trunk press. You all know I'm a sucker for squarish cigars. This is a tobacco company we did not get to interview, but my boy Supremo Tobacco works with them, so he brought us one because I believe you got one, Bob the Cigar Guy. This is the Room 101 Johnny Tobacconaut Maduro, brand new. I love the Johnny Tobacconaut line. I love the JT10 a lot. I love Maduros, so I'm excited to smoke this one, the Johnny Tobacconaut Maduro. Now, we are into Stolen Throne. Bob kind of jumped the gun a little bit. And I do have two of their new blends that they are releasing this year at PCA. There is the Stolen Throne Highway Drifter. They didn't have the bands on. I know it because it says it on the back on the sticker. And then they redid their cigar. It's called Ravelry, but it comes off of the same line as his dog, I think, or a dog he used to have or something like that. The one that I posted on Discord yesterday that I was smoking, that cigar. Moving along, we got Casa 1910 again this year. And so I have the Tierra Blanca from them, which I don't believe is new. It could be new. Maybe I'm wrong. I didn't get to really listen to the interview very well. And then a redo of the Mexigars. This is the HBA. I wrote about this on Chevette Report a couple months ago. So you got those. And then moving into, so I'll do this one. I don't know where this came from. You must have stopped by their booth. But we have the Indian motorcycle cigar. I don't know where this came from.
He grabbed me and said, "Hey, Bob, try this. I'm back."
Got it. Indian motorcycle company, cigar company is back, I guess. Probably when these were made by Drew Estate way back in the day, I had nothing but draw problems with these. And it wasn't that it was too tight of a draw, it was too loose of a draw. Every single one drew like I was drinking through a straw. All right. And then moving into the last company, because this company has a lot of cigars. None of the cigars that are here. Well, we definitely talked about this one. We might have talked about that one. We did talk about this one. I don't think we talked. We did slightly talk about that, but that was released last. No, I don't remember. So went to Altadis, and I called it. We were talking about. We didn't talk about this here on the show, but we were talking about it previous to the show or during the show about like who had the best booth and whatnot. And I thought Altadis was going to have the best large booth of the show because they do large booth, medium booth, small booth. And I had a feeling Altadis was going to win best big booth of the show, just because it was so much different from last year, and it was a really dope concept they had. There's so many brands. They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 brands, I think, under the Altadis envelope or umbrella. There were a lot of Altadis cigars that I really wanted to try that we didn't get in our bag. But we were also told that by the time that we got there, a lot of the good ones had been already handed out. I want to figure out how to go to the Altadis party next year because apparently it looked dope. George and Kevin both went, and it looked great. So one of the cigars they were debuting this year, they were debuting was wine and chocolate, is the Romeo y Julieta Reserva Real Nicaraguan Profundo. It's this wine colored band. Very interested to try it. You know, I stay away from a lot of the Romeo y Julieta stuff. Just never really sat right with me that they're, Cuban brands in America, kind of sort of thing. This one's brand new, H. Upmann Sunrise. This is, they have 2 new H. Upmanns. My watch continues to freak out on me every time I raise my hand up. Excited about that one. This aging room, the La Boheme, I believe, is brand new this year as well. Of course, my face. Now, you smoked during our Altadis interview, right? Or no?
Yes, I smoked the M by Monte Cristo.
Speaking of M by Monte Cristo, got one of those. But I think this is a different one.
Same one.
Oh, it's the same one. This is a cigar I've had before. Love it. So happy that it made it into my pack. I was hoping it was going to be the Tommy Bahama, but this is the Trinidad Espiritu number 3. Fantastic cigar. Love the cigar. Box press winner. A new aging room, I think. This, or maybe it's not new. I don't know. This is called the Sonata. Last year had the aging room Concerto, baby blue band. Absolutely loved it. Really, really enjoyed that cigar. Forgot about it when I was considering my top 20 of the year, and kicked myself as soon as I remembered about it after I'd released my list. So big fan of that. And then also, not sure if this is new or not. This is another Romeo Julieta. This is the Nicaragua. So don't think it's brand new. And then that's it for all the cigars that I have on my desk. That was 35 cigars that I have not had or don't remember having. Well, actually, I take that back because I've had the Miami or the Espiritu number 3. I've had the Monte Cristo M, but so 32 cigars on my desk that I haven't had before. So, well, take that back because I did smoke this during the trade show. I have smoked this one, and I have smoked this one, but they were released brand new to the show. So 30 cigars on my desk that I haven't tried yet. That's a lot of cigars. That's a cigar. That could be a brand new cigar. What? Every 12 days? Every 12 days, I can smoke a brand new cigar from PCA and have a year's worth of cigars to go through. Not bad. At the shop, we did already get in our El Tigre, our Deadwood Buenas Noches, and we also got in the Puro Dominicano from Davidoff at the shop. So be interesting to see what else is going to be rolling out here soon that our shop owners purchased at the show. So hopefully you guys are seeing brand new stuff. I know Adam Wolf has posted a few cigars at his local lounge that have been debuted since the Trey show. So nothing to say, Bob?
I'm just letting you do your thing, Bubba.
I'm done. So do your thing.
Well, I have a neat cigar. We got the pressers, and I think you posted up on Chevette Report. But when the first lady came in, she was supposed to go to a Women of PCA luncheon, which happened to be a dinner, and she was already there. I said, "Come on in," and so she came in the floor, and she just kind of got to wander and meander. And she comes to me and she goes, "You got to come see these people. This is the neatest thing in the whole wide world." And this is a company. They're the German engineered cigar company, and this is the Écoute, right? But the cool thing is
French.
Say what?
Écoute means listen in French.
Well, they were talking about it means like we need medicine and it heals you quickly. It's Écoute. So, but it comes the presentation. They're in blister packs, like you get medicine, right? And that's pretty cool in itself. But they've got one of those little chips in each one of the bands.
NFC chip.
And you take the chip and you touch it to your phone. And not only does it tell you about your cigar, it has a space for you to put notes in it. And then they will contact you a couple weeks later and ask you what you thought about the cigar. And they build a portfolio of what people like and what people don't like. And I thought that was really, really cool. I'm looking forward to getting in to review these cigars. I hope they taste good. The whole NFC thing, or whatever, not NFC or whatever it's called, that little chip. I kind of think it's kind of them trying to. I have a conspiracy theory about it. It just seems like they're wanting to get your information for free, which is smart, but it's just
seems like a Skynet of cigars.
It's kind of funky, but the guys are really cool, really nice guys, and I don't think they were being deceiving or mischievous or duplicitous or anything like that.
Deceptive.
That'll work too. Any of those D words will work, or the M word for mischievous. But it seemed really cool. I got to go over to Mayflower and tell them I like their booth, and they're pretty cool fellas. I guess they've been at PCA. This is their second PCA. They said they did really, really good in comparison. A lot of second time buyers, which is good and healthy. A lot of the booths. I asked a lot of the booths, what do they think about PCA? They said they had a lot of lookers, but they also had a real good amount of buyers. So there were a lot of people there willing to spend money, not just look. I did notice for me personally that a lot of manufacturers did not hand me cigars to smoke during the interview, and they backed off on, instead of just giving us each one cigar. It used to be they give you a couple, and so everybody just kind of pulled back a little bit. I don't know if that's an industry thing or if it's a financial thing or if they don't like us thing.
I thought this year we got more cigars handed to us without having to say anything than previous years.
No, I mean, we got a good amount of cigars, and I'm not knocking that at all, but it just didn't seem the same. Just a little less.
That's an interesting take, because I was thinking about. I was actually going to talk about that tonight. How I felt like this year companies were like happier to hand out product to media than I feel like we've seen in previous years. I feel like there were many of times where somebody said, "Hey, what do you want to smoke?" Or what's your profile? How do I feel like there were multiple companies who gave us, multiple cigars from their brand, where, normally what I've experienced in years past is, oh, here's one cigar. Case in point, which I thought was kind of funny, Romacraft, right? Romacraft kind of hooked us up. They gave us 3 cigars to choose from, to do our interview, or for you to do the interview with Mike Rosales. And then they came back by with I think a bag full of like 8 or 10 cigars at the end of it. And then like we got both 4 cigars apiece from JC Newman. I would have loved to have gotten a cigar from Fuente. But we did get the interview with Fuente this year. It wasn't Carlito. It was with Jose Blanco. But it would have been cool to get a Archero Fuente cigar. Did you get a chance to go look at all the cigars that they were debuting this year? I know he talked about a couple of them during the interview, but did you get to go look at any other ones?
No, I didn't. I didn't look at that booth at all.
Okay. They're debuting the Baby Shark, which is neat. They're also doing a father and son sampler pack. It's like 7 blends, 2 cigars per blend. And it's a lot of really dope blends in the thing. They have the Baby Shark. There's the potential for them to do their Rare Black at the end of the year, which they've been teasing for a few years. Fireborn's got the JFR 20th. We didn't get any cigars from Maganorsa this year, did we? Dang. Well, you smoked during the interview.
Yes.
Yes, you did. Poor Chiefy didn't get one. Womp womp. So overall, the trade show, was it a success for you, or was it not?
I think it was great. I think you captured good content. I made a lot of connections. The first lady made a lot of connections. There's some manufacturers that I saw a new product that I'm going to test that I'm really excited about. It's a little bottle of stuff in here. And in layman terms, basically it's cigar shellac. And so what you do is you dip the first 3/4 of an inch into the cigar before you cut it. You let it sit and dry, and then you cut it. And that stops the cigar if it is underhumidified, if the cap is wonky, if it's just poor construction, any of that stuff. When you cut it, it holds it all together, right? Like a sealer, so as to speak. And in doing that, I'm really interested in trying that. It does not transfer flavor at all. I actually smoked one on PC After Dark, and it held up real well. So I'm looking forward to give it a try and see how it goes.
All right. So as you can see, I have pulled up the Cigar Stonks 2026 prediction. I said that we would do this after the trade show. That's not. We did this before the trade show. This was whether we thought the PCA or how the companies were going to do regarding PCA. You were not here the night that we did the actual prediction. We did bring it up to you after you came back in. And we will continue to look at this as the year goes on. So I'm not going to delete this.
I thought you called me on the phone.
Yeah, but that was after we had already done all these predictions. I was just getting your prediction. Your prediction didn't have any weight on any of this. This is all my prediction and chat's prediction. Yours did not sway one way or the other for any of these.
Okay.
But now we're going to go through and see whether or not Chief in the chat were on par, or above par. Shooting good, shooting right you're supposed to shoot, shooting bad. So Drew Estate predicted it was going to do better than the year before. Think that's a total win. What do you think, Bob?
I agree.
Okay. Natura, I said, would stay on the same kind of level field.
No, I think they did better.
What do you think they did better at?
Their booth was twice as large. They had things to give away. They had a big press reveal at 1:30 on Sunday. They had a lot more staff, and they had people who were very fluent in English without a very heavy accent. I think they stepped up their game. The displays were pretty much the same, just updated, but it felt larger and it felt better, and the furniture was somewhat comfortable.
I know you said their booth was double. I'm not sure, because I think last year their booth was really long. It wasn't very thick, but it was long. Where this year was kind of more of a big square. So I'm wondering if their booth was bigger or not.
They moved their display almost. They lost a third of their booth because that's where they kept all their stock and all their area to hide. So that booth is a lot bigger than the footage you saw standing there.
The booth definitely seemed to flow better, and they were in a much better area
Location
of
absolutely.
the show this go round. I'm not willing to say that I think they're maybe improved a little bit. I definitely don't think that they had this big of a leap as some others, but I'll call that one as not a miss, but they did all right. Padron, honestly, I think Padron should have been a down. The only thing that they had to show at Padron this year that I'm aware of was their 100-year humidor. No new cigar, just a humidor. I walked through Padron's booth multiple times trying to see if somebody would talk to me about their cigars. Wouldn't do it. They didn't hand out any cigars during their education session on Friday. So I think Padron was a massive. I think they need to hit the drawing board and figure out how to stay relevant in the current cigar culture. Fuente, I think the coolest thing out of Fuente that I noticed is they have done smaller boxes of the 90 años that they released last year. The box that they released for the 90 años last year was a 90 count box / humidor, and it's just so big, and it's apparently very expensive. And so they found a way to size the box down to a 45 count. We also did get an interview with Fuente, so that I think, hey, that kind of puts a little bit of the icing on the cake for me. Davidoff, definitely a win. New cigar with the Avo, new cigar with Davidoff. Booth was dope. They had their own private media party before the show even opened on Saturday. So definitely think Davidoff won there.
Was it a media party?
It was a media, yeah, because we got gift bags.
It was more of a press release kind of thing to me. It was
We
more.
got gift bags, dude.
But I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a party. I thought it was going to be just hang out and mingle and have a good time, and that's not what it was.
We got gift bags. I'm calling it a party. Aganorsa, probably should have put him over here in the gray. Booth looked pretty much the same. Interview was great.
The interview was phenomenal, but their booth feels like a jewelry store at the mall.
Their booth kind of tucked away this year. Right behind Big Sky Cigar, and then eclipsed by two huge pylons that hold the bridge up above the building. Booth looked the same. Fabian and Terrence are great. I think that if I remember listening correctly, 2027 is going to be the big year for Aganorsa. So they're kind of gaming on 2027 being the big year.
I would bet a lot of these companies will be revamping booths for Vegas because they either have to store their stuff or make it new and send it to Vegas anyway. So they probably made it new.
When we get done with this, let's revisit booths. Black Label trading actually probably goes up for me because they had, it wasn't just Black Label at their booth this year. They had Apostate and they had Emilio cigars maybe at their booth, popping. And then again, that cigar was really good. My father's booth was popular. I guess they released a cigar this year, but they did not return my emails. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not that their new cigar is going to be able to compete with the My Father Blue from last year. So maybe they should go into the gray category. Foundation didn't release anything new this year, right?
No.
Okay. So Foundation staying put, probably a good idea. AJ Fernandez, I did not like that cigar. The Amar, didn't like it. Booth, the same. So I think red is fair. Placencia probably stays the same. They changed their brand logo. Booth was dope. Whatever. Aventura, speaking of doubling size of Booth, did a great job. Your microphone is covering half your face, by the way. They released the new cigar this year, I believe. The cigar that they teased last year. So green's probably good. Dunbarton, green. No doubt about it. 18 cigars debuted this year. A whole bunch of new blends, retweaks. Absolutely think that they killed it at the show this year. I think Steve posted that in just the first day alone, they eclipsed the amount of sales in one day that they did their first 3 years of business, which is incredible. Room 101 probably should be green because new Johnny Tobacco Nut didn't get over there to Room 101, but there was a lot of buzz around the cigar. I'm excited about the cigar. I love Johnny Tobacco Nut. JC Newman really leaning into the America 250. They did hand out their Sarzetas, which is a sweet tipped cigar, I believe, right?
I don't know.
Gurkha didn't stop by. Have no idea. Rocky Patel, I put it as a green because you can't go. It's not hard to go up from bottom. You stopped by their booth and got to talk to Rocky Patel, didn't you?
I did. Shook his hand. He was not impressed. But I wanted to go up there just to see that Year of the Horse cigar because the band is so gorgeous. He did, but it was but the band was amazing and the booth was nice. It was very elevated.
Warped. I stopped by their booth a couple times. The rep for Warped for our area lives in Greenville, so had to stop by and see him. They did debut a new cigar, maybe 2 new cigars this year at the show. I think they're going to do really well. Hoya de Nicaragua, I think gray is fair. It was kind of weird going over to Hoya de Nicaragua since they're SAG imports now. The greatest part of being over at Hoya was the people that we have relationships with Christian, Joel, and Allie. Rumacraft, you know what? Great experience. I think you really enjoyed your interview with Mike Rosales, didn't you?
I did, and we had a lot of off-camera conversations.
Actually, a lot of it's on camera because I wasn't over there to stop the camera from rolling because I was talking. My mom and I were both talking with Skip. Plastanya, their new cigar that they're debuting, pretty dope. I don't think I'm going to like it as much as I did the San Andreas, but it was good. They also seem to be very popular at the show, so I think green is right for them. Camacho, wasn't a whole lot going on with Camacho this year other than the fact that we got Law. I'm excited for that interview. Hopefully the audio is not messed up on that. And then Oliva, they probably should be in the red. The biggest thing for them was that big soccer ball humidor that they're releasing. So let me do this and then that and this. Bob the Cigar Guy. Let's talk about PCA booths. Top 3 booths at PCA this year. Come on, fire it off.
I'm thinking.
Just the actual booths themselves. See you later, Miss Diana.
I don't know. There were a lot of booths I liked, but I can't think of one that just really just.
So then I'll
stuck
say
out.
my top three were Drew Estate, Altadis, Aventura for sure. Aventura's booth was double the size of what it was. They had a lot of room in their booth, which was nice. It seems like they had a larger staff this year as well. Altadis's booth is a large booth like always, but they had redone it. I think their booth was probably the most changed out of any booth from year to year. Drew Estate's booth was also really nice because they still had the 2-story booth. They had the hidey hole section in the back. They had Eli playing music, and then they have a bar that didn't just have coffee or didn't just have drinks. It wasn't just one or the other, which most booths, when they have stuff like that, they either do like a coffee bar or a wine bar or something like that. Those are my three favorite booths at the trade show. Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust booth was the same exact booth as it was last year. Rocky Patel. So least favorite booths. Did you have any least favorite booths, Bob the Cigar Guy?
Stolen Throne put no work into their booth. Artisanal del Tobacco was exactly the same, and they're really not that much of a booth. But I like Artisanal del Tobacco. I enjoyed our interview with Stolen Throne, but as far as putting in work on making a booth, those probably are the two that stuck out to me. They really didn't do any work.
I didn't stop by Artisanal del Tobacco at all. I did see their booth. Last year they had changed their booth to what their booth was this year, and it was a pretty, I guess the last 3 years their booth has been pretty much the same. From our very first time ever meeting them, their booth drastically changed. Stolen Throne, I heard that they were originally going to be bunking booths with another company and decided not to, and then got their own booth like 3 weeks before the trade show, and then they weren't supposed to be so kind of cut off from the rest of the trade show, but I guess the PCA ended up putting up a storage booth for a company during the trade show, and it cut off their access to the rest of the trade show, so they ended up kind of in the middle of nowhere with their booth. But yeah, it was kind of just depressing how little their booth had. And I get it. They paid like $8,000 for that little booth. Kind of crazy to think about that.
The first lady said that she liked the Altura, which is the new name for Natura booth with all the horses, and then she liked the Davidoff booth with the drink area.
Davidoff's booth was nice. Trying to think of any other booths that I remember looking at that I was like, ooh, that's dope. Mareepful had a nice booth. They had like a section on the side of it that was like it's kind of like a temple or a mosque that had red satin ropes that you could not cross through, and then they had their product right in the middle of it, so you could only see it from a distance. It was kind of a cool concept, kind of like a Moroccan Arabian Night kind of sort of thing. It was over near the food court. Rocky Patel's booth was the same. Gurkha's booth looked the same. AJ Fernandez's booth was exactly the same. Conor McGregor's booth was awkwardly quiet. Same thing for Marlon Wayans. His booth was kind of quiet as well. Both of those booths were on the very end of the trade show. Espinosa had a nice booth this year. They had a VIP roped off area. Did Guy ever come to the trade show floor?
No, he had a wedding to go to. He was unable to go.
That was a nice booth. My father's booth looked, like normal. I think this year, instead of doing blue, they did red. Who else? Placencia's booth was nice. Again, it kind of was the same, but it wasn't. Changed a little bit. JC Newman's booth was exactly the same, aside from they stuck a big America 250 sticker on the side of the El Rolo. But other than that, I mean, you know, that was kind of it. The PCA pre-party was fun. You got to meet Guy Fieri. You got some video taken with him.
And then he gave me a challenge coin.
That's nice.
It was kind of cool.
And then, yeah, it was just a good time all around. Got to eat some good food. What was your favorite food out of New Orleans, Bob Cigar Guy?
The beignets at Cafe Beignet off of Bourbon Street, right before PCA. It was a praline beignet that had like some kind of maple syrup on it with pecans, and then they put the powdered sugar on top. The coffee was not chicory coffee; it was regular coffee. It was excellent. It was delicious.
I got a second helping of Cafe Du Monde at the airport before I left on Tuesday, because there's a Cafe Du Monde in the airport, and I said, "Ooh, you know what I could use before I get on this plane? I could use some beignets and chicory coffee." So I did. I got myself some coffee, some beignets, and then the greatest thing about the beignets when you get them at the airport is they put them in a little paper bag for you. They dump a whole bunch of powdered sugar in there and they shake them up. Is when you're drinking your coffee and you eat your beignets, because you can't slowly eat your beignets. Like, you got to eat your beignets fast, right? You don't savor beignets, you just eat them, because you get them in threes. So when you eat your beignets and you have all this powdered sugar and you're like, wow, I don't want to waste all this powdered sugar, you just dump it all in your coffee, and then it sinks to the bottom of your coffee. It doesn't mix very well. So the last like 4 sips of your coffee is like super hyper sugar insulin rush. A lot of fun. Enjoyed that. That was great. So overall success for PCA for you this year, Bob Cigar Guy?
One, we survived. You know, we've had no problems at any PCA. I mean, we were due, and they just all came at one time. PCA After Dark was great. We had lots of interaction with people. First, they did a great job, and the fact that the last 2 days she could kind of add in her own experience was really good. Let me see. I got to meet a lot of media. There were over 150 media outlets there. And I got to meet some real neat podcasters. I got to hang out with Lee Mack. I got to hang out with the guys from Charlotte and the Cigarage. I got to hang out with a bunch of fellers, and we got to sit down and chit chat a little bit. And it's always nice to be able to take a moment to encourage and pour into people that maybe have not gone as far on their journey as you have, and so they're asking you questions. When we did the classes the first day, I didn't get to watch any of the classes because the guys kind of hemmed me up and they asked me tons and tons of questions. One of the fellas in the podcast actually makes these cool little cigar cutter knives. He makes them himself. And he actually decided he wanted to gift me one.
I saw those guys at the airport.
Did you really?
When I was leaving, 2 of them, yeah.
Neat fellers. We had dinner with them that one night. So it was kind of neat to hang out with them as well. So getting to see all the friends and all the people, getting to see the new cigars and all that stuff was really neat. I got to spend a lot of time with accessory companies. I was very impressed by one accessory company from China. They did not speak very good English at all, but what I really liked about it was, no, what was really cool about it is their products. Each product had a small little tent card that had the picture of the item on it, and then it had the price right next to it. And it's the only booth that I saw that had such clear pricing that you could just walk up and you could look at it and do the math in your head, which is really nice.
You know who does that really well? The pipe booths.
I could see that, but I didn't. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, the pipe booths do that very well.
You're right. I was wrong.
Well, you got to think though with like cigar companies, it's more of the sheets of paper, right, or the emails that they send you before you go to the show. I did learn that a lot of companies order their PCA orders before they even go to the show.
Right.
That's one thing that kind of concerns me for the PCA going forward. Is I really wish And I'm sure there's a great reason for why they do it. But I kind of wish that all of the PCA deals could only be done when you're with your rep at PCA.
That's how it used to be.
That's how I wish it was, because I
about
feel
5 years ago, people started getting cheap like that and say, well, you're not coming anyway, so I'll give the deals anyway. And so that stops people from coming to PCA.
And so that makes me worry about the longevity of PCA. Did you know that you pronounce longevity with 2 G's in it, and even though there's 1 G in longevity?
No.
Yeah, longevity. It's LONGEVITY.
True. PCA also is starting to, they've reached out to, they have a PCA in Dubai, and they have a PCA now, I think.
Well, that's the World Cigar Show in Dubai.
It's, yeah, but they're partnered with PCA.
Right.
PCA owns them.
Right, but it's just
partnered
not called
with them.
PCA, it's called
Right.
the World Cigar
But
Show.
PCA is also stretched out to another country. I forget where it was, but they just revealed that they have another country they're doing it with as well. So I don't know if PCA is like, well, maybe we need to hedge our bet and not spend as much time in America as we do in these other countries. So
I think you're going to have, I don't know. I do worry about, you had, what was it? 6 years ago, 7 years ago, you had a ton of, the big 4 leave the PCA. And now they're all back. And I'm curious. I'm curious to know whether or not, because when the guy from CLE came in yesterday to the shop, I was asking him, how was their show, and he said, I think it did well, but haven't tallied up all the numbers yet because they're having to figure out all of the orders that they put in before PCA and then all the orders they put in during the show, and they count them as 2 different orders. And I almost wish that, and I know that there are still things that from companies that are debuted at the trade show for hey, now we're going to hit you with the second credit card payment. So you're going to pay this extra 3.95% fee. But I do wish that all the ordering could be. If I owned a cigar shop, I think I would want to do all of my ordering at the trade show. I know it streamlines and it makes it easier to just do it all at home and whatnot. But I feel like that's a part of the rush of PCA. Like, ooh, I'm gonna go drop $1 million this show, or $2 million, or $5 million. I can't imagine how much money Smoke Inn and Corona and Fox and companies that sell online drop at trade shows. It's got to be in 7 figures. You think, right?
I do. I agree. A ton of money.
Tons of money.
Yeah.
Well, are you looking forward, or are you anticipating going to PCA again next year? Or do you think that you are still in the trade winds of wanting to go, or are you like, you know what, next year maybe I don't go?
Me?
You're the only person I can talk to.
Yeah, I want to go.
Okay.
I want to go. It's earlier. It's earlier
sure.
this year.
You're right. This is the first time that we had major hiccups during the show, and it kind of all compounded within a 24-hour window. Actually, it really wasn't even that. It was like a 4-hour window. Honestly, the big boo-boos. But we can count our many blessings, count them one by one, in the sense of destroy the lens, but somebody had a lens that I could borrow, right? Had the car issue, but hopefully that resolves itself and doesn't cost us a whole bunch of money in the long run. So I'm looking forward to PCA again next year. I am looking forward to it being back in Vegas. Are you looking forward to being back in Vegas, or do you prefer to be in New Orleans?
Vegas is cheaper. Vegas is easier because hopefully we will book early our hotel that's right across from the convention center. Because I got to tell you, spending $30 per car per day for parking gets really old. The first lady was out going to the whatever the festival was, the French Quarter Festival. She was trying to find parking, and they wanted to charge $100 for 4 hours of parking.
Wolf.
$100. She went to 3 different spots, and so she ended up not going because she was not going to put down $100. just to park the car for 4 hours. It's crazy.
Fireborn says, "Oh, that reminds me. England passed a generational ban. I assume it's because they're on a social medicine system or are trying to save future expenditures. Your thoughts?" I didn't know that they passed it. I've heard about that through some other states, like Bob Ellis is saying here. There were some states in the New England area, I think, that had passed it or trying to pass it to where basically if you turned 21 in the year 2021. That was the last age of under 21 or 21 and over smokers that could ever be. And then eventually you would phase out smokers across the land. In America, I don't think that would work because you're just going to be able to go to another state and buy tobacco and then bring it back, because the Deep South is not going to they're not going to pass that. That's not tobacco is rooted in our culture too much down here to ever be like, yeah, that's something that we should do. Now, when it comes to Europe, I have no idea. Those guys, they kind of do their own thing over there. That sucks, which is also wild because Europe is one of the continents. A lot of European countries still have you can drink at 18. I think you can drink at 16 as long as your parents provide you the alcohol in some European countries. So that's interesting. Now, I'd love for it to apply to cigarettes because I think cigarettes are terrible because it's not just tobacco. But I would hate to see it's hard not to include cigars and pipe tobacco if you're, demonizing cigarettes because everybody always says, well, it's the nicotine in cigarettes that get you bad. It's like, no, that's an addictive chemical. That's an addictive part of the plant, sure. But there's also nicotine in potatoes. Like nicotine is like highest concentrated in potatoes, I think. But the cigarettes have so much more than just nicotine in them to help you stay addicted to cigarettes. And then it affects your lungs and so on and so forth. Gary is interested. Chief, maybe you can go as a buyer next year. I would love to continue to go as a social media content manager and videographer and photographer and editor in chief. As much as I thought it was cool that I got to hang out with my boss a couple times at the show, I would miss so much of the trade show just being somebody who purchases tobacco. And I could not do both. There's no way. I would not have enough time to sit and do content and purchasing. There's no way. My bandwidth already feels as stretched as it is. I do wish, one thing I wish could happen, and it wouldn't. One, because it would be so expensive. Two, companies would not, every company that I reach out to would not agree to it. I think there would be some companies who would be like, yeah, it's a great idea because Boveda does it. I would love to have a Chief and Bob booth at the trade show. I would love for it to have 3 walls and a roof and it be just all black on the inside with a cool accent wall at the back, multiple chairs and couches, multiple camera settings, and just live streamed the whole day. And then we have people come over to our booth throughout the trade show. We have Steve Saka come over. We have Nick Melillo come over. We have Jonathan Drew come over. We have Pedro Gomez come over. We have whoever come over to our booth and we interview them during the show to talk about their new products, to smoke their stuff. We would have, me running the operations with the computer and my cameras and the sound and all that stuff. And Bob would be the one back there smoking the cigars and whatnot. We'd have somebody helping, clean the ashtrays and hand out drinks. And hey, you're here. Oh, you're here for your interview? Okay, great. Sit right here and Bob will be with you very soon. But that's like a $50,000 venture. I mean, I wonder if that's public knowledge. PCA booth size price. Let's do Premium Cigar Association. Let's see. All right. So the PCA booth pricing structure, 100 to 99 square foot is $28 a square foot. 1,000 to 1,500 drops to $27 a square foot. 1,500 to $39.99 is $24 per square foot. I mean, so you're looking at what? What's 4,000 times 21? Is that $80,000? Bob Scar, are you listening over there? Or what's going on?
I nodded yes. I thought that was.
And I'm looking at a website right now.
Yes. Whew.
Trade show, become a member, John board. Let's see if they have like a actual pricing guide here. Well, that's not what I wanted. Exhibitor dashboard, view rules, guidelines, book of sponsorship, shipping, creative services. Booth selection. Learn more here. Hold on. Why can't they just have one that says, hey, this is what it cost? Ding, dang, dong. Darn it. They try to keep it under wraps. But let's say, okay, so let's say you got so what was the number? 100 square foot was, whoops, wrong one. All right, so 100 to 1,000 square foot is $28 per. So you're looking at $28,000 for 1,000 square foot spot. Is that math right?
Yes.
Ooh. Jeez. So if you did a
a 10 by 20 is $5,600.
So that's basically what's stolen. So Stolen Thrones was like a $7,000 booth. So yeah, for just a booth size of what we'd be looking to do, you're gonna have to. And that's just for the booth size. That's not for like contacting the company to build your stuff for the booth. Like you're gonna have to have the walls put up. Now some of the stuff they have just like basically shower curtains kind of sort of thing that kind of separate each other's booths, and they have like tables and whatnot. There's nothing really fancy about it. If I was gonna do like a streaming setup, I would want to have I would want to enclose so I can control all the light. I'd want 3 walls, a back wall, 2 side walls, and then some sort of roof that went over it so that I could control the light, put light panels in to control the lighting spot to make it totally customizable and dope to the eye. Why do I need 1,000 square foot? Not sure if I'd need 1,000 square feet. That's probably a little overkill. But also I would want a space big enough to have multiple cameras. I wonder how big Bovita's booth is, because they do a live stream throughout the whole entire show, which is dope. But they have like industry people come in and out throughout the show while they also do their own stuff. I don't know. But then there also comes the problem of, now I'm booking out all these people. I'm saying, okay, now you have to leave your booth for an hour to come to my booth, and you're missing an hour that you could be at your booth. Because like we go to Steve Saka, right? We spend an hour with Steve Saka, but Steve Saka's at his booth. If somebody needs him, he's there at his booth. It's going to be hard to get Steve Saka to come over to my booth. But if I had my druthers, that's the way that I would do it.
Neat idea.
All right. That's the end of the show. Bob Cigar Guy. Say what you're going to say.
PC is a blast. Chief's going to put out a bunch of great content. And then after that content is done, I should be reviewing pretty much all the cigars that we did interviews on. So stay tuned. Lots and lots and lots and lots of content coming out. And I bet there's going to be some good stuff in there. So until the next time, I'll see you later.
All right. PCA, enjoyed it, loved it, had a great time. Hopefully all of the content goes out without a hitch. There's a lot of stuff that I got to get done. This is a very busy time, right? The month and a half leading up to PCA is really busy. Then you have PCA, and then I have about a month or so after PCA. That kind of, can you turn the sound off your computer? There's about a month after PCA where it kind of gets heavy too. So I'm in the midst of it. I'm in the thick of it. I'm looking forward to being out of it, I will say. Did talk to a lot of people, manufacturers, figureheads, and so about coming on the show throughout the rest of the year. And a lot of people said, hey, just shoot me a date. I'll come on. So looking forward to having people on. Thank you all for hanging out with us. The Nick Malillo vid, I will not post that. That's a Bob Cigar Guy post. He has that file. So that'll be, he'll probably post that once all of my posting's done and over with, unless he wants to post that in between today and Monday. And then that would be our first PCA video. But without further ado, thank you all for hanging out with us. Do check the links in the description. Link number 1 takes you to chevettereport.com. That will start being activated again here soon as well. I probably will go back through my email for the last week because I got like 750 press releases over the last week and start putting some of those out over time. It's just a lot to look at. And then the second link in the description takes you to a Discord where you can hang out with us. Also, I did do Stick Pick of the Week this week. Stick Pick of the Week is Charles Adamson. Look at that. Perdomo, 12-year, next to that pretty little flower. Congratulations, Charles Adamson, for winning this week's Stick Pick of the Week. All right, that's it. Love you all. Thank you all for hanging out with us, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Time to relax. Whew. Man, I'm beat. Whew. What are you doing? What are you doing here? Show's over. Go home. Go home. Show's over. What are you waiting for? You waiting for another show? This is a 1-ticket entry. Go. Bye. Go. Go. Go.